The Andes Mountains, an alpine biome.
The alpine biome of the Andes Mountains in Peru is similar to the tundra biome because it is cold and dry throughout much of the year. The climate is snowy and very cold. The average annual precipitation is 900 millimeters a year, and the average annual temperature is less than 1.5 degrees Celsius. The topography is steeply sloped with rocky surfaces and snow, with low-lying vegetation. The high altitudes expose the alpine biome to higher levels of UV radiation than most other biomes. Most of the plants in the alpine biome of the Andes Mountains of Peru are small in size to conserve energy due to the extremely dry and cold weather conditions of the alpine biome. Some examples of alpine plants are the wild potato, Puya Raymondi, and polylepis trees. Mostly warm-blooded animals thrive in the Andes, such as alpacas, vicuñas, chinchillas, and the Andean condor. Vicuñas are especially adapted to this high-altitude habitat. They have extremely thick and soft coats that trap layers of warm air close to their body. This protects them from freezing temperatures. The vicuña's teeth also grow constantly, similar to that of a rodent, which allows it to eat the tough grasses that are common at high altitudes. Due to the rocky terrain, the vicuña has evolved to walk on the soles of its feet, allowing it to flex its toes and grab onto the rocks and gravel along the mountain slopes. Andean condors, another animal found in the alpine biome of the Andes Mountains in Peru, roost on the steep faces of the alpine cliffs and use the thermal updraft of warm morning air to lift off. Puya Raymondi is the largest herb in the world and found in the alpine biome of the Andes Mountains in Peru. To cope with the occasional droughts and the extremely dry weather of the alpine biome, this herb has evolved so that its leaves all grow from one big stem, which allows moisture to run down the leaves to go to the base of the plant, improving the plant's efficiency.
Andean condors are scavengers and feed mostly on carrion, or dead and decaying flesh. They feed mainly on large carcasses and play an important role in the ecosystem by disposing of carrion, which would otherwise act as a breeding ground for disease. Also, through excrement, the Andean condor plays the role of a decomposer and detrivore by breaking down dead animals. The Andean condor's excrement adds nutrients, such as phosphorus, to the soil, increasing the soil's fertility. Without the Andean condor's role in the nutrient cycle, many plants would likely not survive in the alpine biome because the rocky soil would otherwise be much less fertile.
One environmental threat facing the Andes Mountain alpine biome is the famous tourist attraction of Machu Picchu in Peru. The ruins were discovered in 1911, and more than 300,000 people visit Machu Picchu every year. These travelers pose many threats to the biome through intentional fires, the introduction of exotic plants, and litter. Landslides have been the result of the intentional fires set by travelers. These landslides disrupt the local plants and animals in the alpine biome. Seeds on the bottom of travelers' shoes introduce plants that compete with the native alpine plants for the limited resources in the alpine biome. Litter, such as plastic bottles, bags, cellophane, and tin foil, can choke the native animals and introduce harmful chemicals to the biome.
Another important animal in the Andes is the alpaca. Alpacas are native to the Andes and have become quite well known within the last 30 years. About 80% of the world's alpacas live in Peru. That's 3.5 million alpacas. One endangered species of the Andes alpine biome is the chinchilla. Chinchillas are considered critically endangered as they've experienced a severe population loss of about 90% loss over the last 15 years. Chinchillas nearly became extinct in the 1940s because so many were being killed for their pelt. It takes about 120 to 150 pelts to make one chinchilla coat. Man is considered the main predator of the chinchilla.